Hey everybody, my name is Nelson Bauer, Deputy Fire Marshal here in Orange Beach, Alabama. This week I want to talk about fire prevention staffing and the challenges that we're facing. As you know, this is one of the most technical fields in the fire department. However, making this field inviting to our brightest is one of the most challenging, especially when they're on the line and they're used to a 24/48 work schedule. So I hope that you enjoy this brief video, and I hope that you will chime in with your experiences and potential solutions. Thank you. Services provided by our Fire Prevention Bureau may differ from community to community. Regardless, the 9 areas to the right should be what you are providing as a Fire Prevention Bureau. And that is fire protection, engineering, and construction document review, fire and life safety education, fire inspection and code enforcement, public information responsibilities, pre-incident planning, fire investigations, occupant services, wildland risk management training, and code consultation. The driving force of the size and complexity of a Fire Prevention Bureau is dictated by the level of services it will provide to the community it serves. It is my firm belief that ideal structure of the Fire Prevention Bureau should have the person responsible for the Fire Prevention Bureau reporting directly to the fire chief. A direct report to the fire chief is critical to enable the chief to ensure the mission of the department and strategic plan reflects the needs of the Fire Prevention Bureau. Fire Prevention Bureaus are in the service business. The greatest resource of a Fire Prevention Bureau is its people. The old adage of the Fire Prevention Bureau is a repository for the sick, lame, and lazy is a thing of the past. The Fire Prevention Bureau is no longer the dumping ground for troubled employees. There are no longer just 3 types of sprinklers and pipe schedule designs. The complexity of fire alarm and sprinkler systems combined with technological advances in performance-based design make the Fire Prevention Bureau one of the most technical positions in the fire department. So what are some of our options when staffing our Fire Prevention Bureau? Options to staff the Fire Prevention Bureaus can be from sworn personnel, civilian, or the fire prevention services may be outsourced to a private company. There are advantages and disadvantages with each option. The key is to find which option or combination of options works for your community specifically. Sworn personnel have an established relationship with the line or shift personnel. This relationship may help to integrate the fire prevention activities into the fire department operations. Usually, they have experience in structural firefighting in their community. Unfortunately, they may not have the formal education to allow them to address the complexity of many of the Fire Prevention Bureau issues faced. Civilian personnel may lack the suppression skill set that sworn personnel possess. It is truly a benefit to understand what issues the firefighters will face when called to fight a fire in a building. Keep in mind, fire codes are both for firefighter and building occupant safety. In most cases, civilian personnel can be hired at a cost savings to hiring an additional firefighter. Civilians can be hired for a job with a specific skill set or educational requirement, such as a fire protection engineer, or FPE. Whether the Fire Prevention Bureau uses civilians or sworn personnel or outsources its staff, it must attract, motivate, and retain Fire Prevention Bureau personnel. Nothing is more frustrating for a manager than to have a good employee spend only a few years in the Bureau before he or she is transferred back to shift work or leaves the department for another fire prevention job. Considerable time and money is spent training that individual. Typically, productivity is less during the first few months of training. Losing an employee has a large impact on the division, as well as impact on relationships developed with other important agencies and departments that contribute to the fire protection of a community, such as the building and planning departments. Many employees don't just leave an organization to increase their salary. Recent studies have shown that quality of life and the ability to meet family demands play a significant factor in job selection. One way to attract and retain employees is the use of alternative scheduling, such as compressed work weeks and the use of flex time. Compressed work weeks let the individual perform the equivalent of 1 week's work in fewer than 5 days. Even with some of the disadvantages that can arise from alternative work schedules, they attract sworn individuals used to the fire department's traditional 24-hour work schedule. The change to a 40-hour week from shift hours may drastically impact a person's family life. As fire prevention bureaus continue to evolve into one of the most complex technical services of the fire department, it is critical to be able to have the best person for the job based on his or her ability, not their sworn or civilian status. In order to recruit and retain great fire prevention employees, fire departments must look beyond traditional 40-hour work weeks and focus on human resource programs found in the private sector.